I don't know if this is our next guest's favorite band or not, but she used it in one of her Instagram videos. I don't think this particular song, but it was the Deftones. I've been talking a lot about OnlyFans the past couple of days, and the only reason that it first came up is some woman in Australia found out her cousin was on her page, and she didn't like that, and he had paid for the higher stuff. But then I was going, there's a lot of work that goes into this, and we hear about people making tremendous amounts of money. And I think that and so you go, oh, well, what are they doing? They're not doing anything, just showing off their body. Well, first of all, you got to have a nice body to show off. Let's put it that way. So there's a lot of work right there. And then it's all the work you have to put into driving people, because it's an attention game, and you've got to be able to give them something and interact with them. And I think these become full-time jobs. And I think there was an article today that Denise Richards, the actress who had been married to Charlie Sheen, the poor woman, at one point, her daughter's on there and was making nearly $1 million, and she went on and is making about $2 million a year. So I was trying to find anybody who is an Instagram or excuse me, an OnlyFans model or creator. And Jen Fit agreed to come on. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
Doing well. Are we allowed to say where you are in the United States, or is that a better thing not to say?
Every creator is a little bit different. I do disclose that I am in the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
It's a big city, so it doesn't bother me.
I thought Chicago to me is such a cool city.
It's the best city in the world.
Yeah, I always thought that was a pretty cool city. I had an opportunity to do some radio there, but it was I didn't go. But so as an OnlyFans, what made you want to try this? Right? Because it's
a funny story. It's kind of a long one. But I'll keep it brief. So when I was 18, I was working at Borders Bookstore. They closed down, and I didn't have a job. And I said, well, I got to figure something out. So at that point, I had heard of this older punk chick. I've always been involved in the punk scene. That she was selling her underwear for like $50 a pop. And mind you, this was 15, 16, 17 years ago.
This is amazing to me.
Right? And I was like, oh my God.
Right? Yeah.
And I was 18, and I'm like, oh my God, $50, that's so much money. So I started looking into it. I found a website, ripeban.net, if there's any OGs out there. I was on there for 13 years until June of last year when they shut down permanently. And I've been on OnlyFans, but I was kind of just dabbling. I wasn't putting much time into it. I was doing, $500, $600, $700 a month, nothing crazy. But once my primary website shut down, I decided, all right, let's just lean into OnlyFans and let's see what we can do.
Well, beat selling Amway.
I'm sorry?
Beat selling Amway. I'm sorry, that's an old school joke.
All right, so you go on there, and are you making? I mean, Chicago's not cheap. Are you making a decent amount of money on there?
I own a two bed condo in Chicago in Lincoln Park. Well, maybe I won't go that far. North side.
Wow.
Oh wow. Okay. White Sox territory.
So you are making enough, because we hear this, and I always wonder, right? Like in the podcast world, there's millions of podcasts. Not everybody's going to make what Joe Rogan's making. They're just not making $100 million deals. So I always think there's got to be, different stuff. So how many hours a day are you creating?
Oh my God. So usually the easiest way to split things up, I would say I spend more time chatting over anything else.
Okay.
Talking to people, trying to, discourage them from asking for free stuff, blocking or muting the people who are asking for freebies constantly and not, giving me anything in return. But as far as creating goes, I have a schedule for that.
You do? So
I will create on like certain days of the week, just kind of depending on my schedule.
Okay.
So I'll create on those days and just make certain amounts of sets. And like sometimes I'll do like some live creation as well, but that just costs a little bit more because you have to give that person all of your time instead of dividing it between other people.
Oh, wait a second. So if you do live, you do it private for one person?
Like if they're like, I want to see this specific pose or whatever, then like if there's like specific requests, there's a higher ticket for paying for that session.
Okay. So are there now, I don't know what I can ask or not ask, but in terms of creation, like, because OnlyFans, you're able to do whatever you want. And I kind of like it because it sort of gives the power back to the creator, where I think
I've always had a very, very hard stance on like feminism and owning my femininity and owning my sexuality. And, I've been doing this since the day I turned 18, literally the day I started doing sex work. And it's given me the business ethic, the confidence, the drive, the intrinsic motivation to get things done and to be my own boss, because there's no one handing me a to-do list and say, here, do this. I had to organize myself.
Okay. I have a question. How old are you? May I ask how old you are now?
I'm 32.
And you've been, okay. And how old were you when you started on OnlyFans?
On OnlyFans, I've been on OnlyFans for 4 years. So
Okay.
I think like 28.
So when you were 18 and you were doing sex work, what did you start doing things like selling the panties and things like that?
Yes, I was purely doing like foot fetish, selling socks, underwear. eBand was very fetish driven, so it was very much. It wasn't so much GFE, like the girlfriend experience. It was very much like the weird stuff, like the weird random stuff that
you're way cooler than I thought. Okay, all right, all right. Well, no. And when I say that,
I've got some lore to me.
No, but here's what I mean. I could tell you're comfortable talking about this because I have questions, but I always worry when I don't know. You don't want to. We don't want to. Well, first of all, you don't know me, so if I say something, I don't want you to think I'm making fun of it. I'm not. I find this so interesting. I find it interesting that that guys would buy used panties, right, and not from. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I can't either.
No, but I want to talk to that guy and go, why?
Why? Right.
Like, wouldn't you rather know that I get to remove the panties and see what's below them? But whatever.
The why is the symptom of something else.
Yes, but I love that you are that. So when you talk about sex work, did you ever do porn kind of controlled by somebody else, or was it always things where you had the control?
No, I've always been in the driver's seat.
Yeah,
it's always been what I want.
Yeah, I kind of like that. So,
me too.
On your page, then now, is it just you, or do you sometimes bring other people in? And is there sex?
Yes, there is sex. I do have a male partner that I do work with.
Yeah.
And I do collaborate with female creators as well.
Okay.
Now, do you have to hand them 1099s for their work? Are they independent contractors, or they work through you?
This is. I laugh. Right? It sounds like a ridiculous question, but
I'm not joking.
I know. I know.
No, well,
I just did my taxes.
I think the biggest thing that like incels like to make fun of is they're like, well, these whores aren't paying tax. No, I'm definitely paying tax on every single cent that I get from OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. That's
why I asked about the 1099s, because if you're leasing these people out, then you got to send them so you get your money back. So it's not costing you all this money.
And you know what? They're having a good time. I don't need to pay them out.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's awesome.
Wow. All right.
That's awesome.
But what they do have to do, because of FOSTA and SESTA and anti-trafficking laws, they are very, very strict on the content creation. And anyone, if there is a fingernail inside of a photo and it is not tagged, it will get flagged and it will get removed.
By OnlyFans?
Yep.
So they have people that police this?
People and AI.
People in AI to police it.
They will scan it and they will pull anything that a hand. There was like I think there was a knee that I didn't tag, and the photo got pulled.
So do you have to go? So you're not kidding? Like I can't just tag the person's face. I have to tag each section of their body.
If it is inside of a photo, they must be tagged.
Wow. They have to be accounted for.
No,
it's due to FOSTA and SESTA, and those are, those became very.
Trying to keep people safe, right?
Absolutely. And it's you don't want your stuff up there without your consent, and it's revenge porn laws, and I'm totally for it. It's very tight, and things aren't tight and loose the way it was in the early 2000s or on eBand. It was very kind of, you upload your ID and that was it.
Okay.
Back in my day.
And I mean, really though, I'm a veteran here.
Okay, so I kind of like, see, this is the thing where I think, right, you want to be, I don't know, maybe you're attracted to sex work and you go back out in the 80s, 90s, and you wind up doing porn. This is where I feel like people you see some of the tragedies. I think there was a documentary done about porn, I call them porn stars, but porn performers, and how some of them just became so depressed, addicted to drugs. It's like almost as though sometimes the memories come like, I can't believe I did that. At least here it's you and your partner, right? You choose, you go when you want to, you do what you want to do. You're not told what to do. You're not, I don't know why. It just seems like I don't know how else to say it, a healthier way of doing what people have been looking at forever. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
it puts the control back
Yeah.
on the performer.
Yeah.
So you no longer feel pressured by, a person or a pimp or a company to do certain things. There are companies that will help you run your page, and they will ask for a certain level of explicit content.
Okay.
And you can either decide to work with that company or not. You can run your own page and have your own rules or not. There's a lot of different avenues that you can take.
Okay. GinFit. You can go to onlyfans.com/GinFit to see your page. I would assume there you sign up and do you have different tiers that people can pay?
I have a free page, so it's all PPV, which is pay-per-view. So if you want to see something fun, my mom could look at my page on the outside for free and won't have anything crazy. If you want to see the good stuff, you got to come to the DMs.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you sound like a really open person.
Very much.
Danny's got a question behind.
I got a lot of questions.
I know, but you seem like a very open person, and I would think then your mom is aware of what you've done. Were they okay with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting topic that I've been bringing up lately as like my OnlyFans has taken off more and more.
Yeah.
At what fiscal number do people start respecting it? Is it $10,000 a month? Is it 20? Is it 30?
Right.
Where are people, where are people drawing that line? But once you start getting into, that 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a month, people start to keep the jokes to themselves a little more.
Sure. I would, here would be my take on it a little bit. I don't have daughters. I'm 52 years old. I have 3 sons, and 2 are in their early 20s and one's still a teenager. If I had a daughter, I would go, I would prefer she didn't. But if she did, it's her life. And if she's got the control, that's the part of it I really like. And if she's going to, and you have to be successful at this, I'm watching, you got to be disciplined. I really believe that. And
that's the way my parents agree as well.
Yeah.
They're, like, would they rather that I do work a 9-to-5 corporate job? Like maybe, but they knew at a young age that I was always a little bit rebellious. I was always had crazy hair, was like, I'm covered in tattoos and like a punk rocker. They knew that wasn't going to happen. And they're just glad I'm not on drugs or poor.
Exactly. As long as you're happy, I think that's really, truly the thing. As long as you're happy and I want to say self-sustaining, I think that most
I took my mom to Vietnam last fall for a 12-day trip.
Really?
Yep.
How nice.
So she's reaping the benefits too.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. I hear Vietnam is beautiful. I had a friend who went over there, and I knew people who went for their honeymoon. Remember Wesley?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, for her honeymoon she went there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and loved it. Loved it. What were you going to ask her?
Well, do you feel that there's a shelf life to this, like for you, like a target time where you're going to be like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore? And do you find like when you collaborate with other people that they feel that there may be a shelf life to doing this?
I mean, I've been in this world for so long, and just it's not easy money. It's quick money.
Okay.
And it's just almost too easy for me right now to give it up, and I don't want to give up the nest egg. I also work for myself. I'm also a personal trainer. I like to stay busy.
Yeah.
So I do that in the mornings, and I work most of my OnlyFans at night. So as far as like a shelf life goes, I've been juggling these 2 different worlds for 8 years. I've been an independent personal trainer. I've been doing both, and because I get more fulfillment out of nutrition coaching and personal training, and I don't get a ton of fulfillment out of doing sex work. So as far as like a tag on it goes,
yeah,
like a timeline,
yeah,
I've been at it 14 years and counting, so I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. But as far as like getting old, does it feel a little bit harder to keep up with these like 23-year-olds who are getting tons of lip filler and like getting all this body work done? And here I am 32 and I have signs of aging. I am in my 30s, but I think some people enjoy that look as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do.
Everyone has their flavor, you know?
Yeah. My flavor is always, and as a guy in his early 50s, I would rather look at somebody in their mid 40s to 50s for me.
Exactly.
I never was one of these guys. I see my buddies who are divorced, and I knew one. He was hanging out with some chick in her early 20s. He goes, yeah, I don't know if I can do it anymore. I'm talking about buying a boat. She's talking about paying off her college loans. We're in two different worlds. And I go, yeah. I mean, that's just.
And then Jordan walks in. I know her. His son.
That's my son.
Yeah.
No, but there's something to me about. I've always said this: the sexiest age to me was 40 plus on a woman. The reason is, I feel like that's the age you could put on any shade of lipstick and walk in a room and feel confident. You've got your confidence. You've got some life experience behind you. There's a little bit of an I don't give a shit what you think kind of thing, which I've always loved. And I don't know. I always found that to be the sexiest age. So I say, Gin Fit, that you could do this until you're 80 if you wanted to.
I planned on it because there's someone out there who's going to buy it along with my panties.
This is what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
Jim Fit, let me ask you this question. I know as a former Uber driver, and we have a guy on the show who's not here today who is an Uber driver full time, that when Uber became legal in New York, of course, we were the last ones to do it because we're the last ones to do everything. All of a sudden, the cabbies got ticked off, and they would actually go after Uber and Lyft drivers, sometimes physically, right? The more traditional sex workers, have you felt any threats or anybody go after you because you've taken off in this medium and they haven't figured out how to approach it or master it? Is there any of that type of rivalry?
There is almost like a classism to it, where you'll see some, OnlyFans girls who are making, $100K a month, but they'll turn their noses up at the term sex worker and say, well, I'm just an OnlyFans girl. And I'm like, no, baby, you're a sex worker. And but you'll see people who turn their nose up at the street-based sex workers who are providing, physical services.
Yeah.
But we're all under the same umbrella, and there is no true hierarchy. And people tend to lean. I'm a psych and a social major, just to preface that.
Yeah.
Who did my dissertation on street-based sex work, and I think there is like I felt like I was robbing people of that title when I was calling myself a sex worker, but I wasn't providing physical sex.
I got you.
So I started like leaning into like spicy work or like just something a little bit different. So, I mean, do I hang out with escorts? Absolutely. Do I hang out with people who call themselves like prostitutes, hookers? Like, yeah, I know them all, but I don't think there's any kind of animosity because they know that, especially if they're friends with me, that they would have the opportunity and the resources to create this page and like the external marketing and everything that goes into the advertisement and the traffic and all that stuff. They would have that if they were friends with me.
It's interesting because I think sex work should be legalized, like the prostitution, just for the sake.
I disagree. I think it should be decriminalized. Okay,
decriminalized. Okay. I would say I like it just in terms of trying to make it safe for people. Is my thing.
Involving the government doesn't always necessarily mean it's safer.
You are right. You are 100% right. We talked about marijuana in this state. It's just been a nightmare. But fair point. But my point is just in terms of trying to keep people safe and healthy, I think is all a good thing. And that's where, like with OnlyFans, I feel like it kind of there's a little bit more of a safe experience, and I also think that it lets people who we're very prudish in this country. We don't want to admit, yeah. So, but you give them a one-on-one experience that they don't have to tell anybody that they looked at you.
There's a lot of people who are, exploring their sexuality and exploring different fetishes, and they're not comfortable, disclosing that to someone else, and someone who's a quote unquote, professional.
Right.
They feel more comfortable saying, "Hey, I think I like feet. Can you show me like the soles of your feet?" Gotcha. And they can start exploring that and go, "Oh yeah, I am into that," or "No, I'm not into that."
Right.
And they don't have to trial and error maybe on like their partner or like a Tinder date.
Which could be very weird.
Well, let me ask you though. Did you get recognized in public by somebody who might be I don't know, is the term client? I don't know, or a fan.
A fan. Yeah, fan.
I had someone message me, and I was downtown doing something, and I got a message that was like, "Hey, were you downtown around this time?" I was like, "Nope, wasn't me."
But still, the fact that you popped into somebody's mind, I mean, it's an attention game, so that's a great thing. You cut through. That's
branding.
That's what it's all about. How many, like, in terms of trying to market yourself, right? You've got your Instagram page, which then would probably try to drive people to your OnlyFans. What else are you doing, and how much work is that?
The external marketing aspect is the terrain is ever changing. Reddit was once the top tier promotion for OnlyFans.
Oh, wow.
People used to, yeah, until that recent blackout, then things really changed. So you kind of have to like hop on the carousel and hop off. You got to like do some promoting here for a couple months, then get off, and then do a different one. So it's not this like copy paste, cut and dry. It's always changing. TikTok is now the big thing. You have to do the trending audios on the TikToks. You got to post 3 to 5 times a week on that. The Instagram is more your like super fans page, where like all of your best fans are like they just want to see more of you every single day on every platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say like right now it would be TikTok, Reddit, I guess, Instagram, Twitter has always been big for sex work, but Twitter, had a little bit of a weird dip with the X transformation thing.
Yeah.
But TikTok is just blowing up for everything as far as like promotion goes.
Did you figure this all out on your own?
So Reddit does have a lot of really helpful like pages. Like
Really?
OnlyFans advice is super, super helpful. I've been on there for years, just lurking for the most part. But a lot of it is also just stuff that you would never, it's not written on the internet anywhere. You have to be in the business, in the circle with these people. Like I'm friends with, one of the administrators at OnlyFans, and the only way, I got my homepage promotion was by knowing this person and getting in front of him and having dinner and just being around. And that's a huge privilege. And I certainly don't,
so
don't forget that.
So Jim, what is that? What are you talking about? The homepage, like you're on, if I go to OnlyFans, you're on their cover page?
So there's something called OFTV, and it's kind of like having like your own internal YouTube channel on OnlyFans.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I have my silly little videos that, it's like travel hacks to like stuff to bring with you to make sure you stay on top of your fitness. Or I did a hot tub boat vlog. What else have I done?
And that's
I crushed a watermelon with my legs.
Wow.
Way to go, Gallagher.
Suzanne Summers.
Suzanne Summers. Right. That's awesome. Okay, so this is...
If Suzanne Summers and Gallagher had a watermelon.
Yes. That's, I don't even know if she'll get
Gallagher. I'll dress up as Gallagher next time.
All right,
she did get it. Okay.
All right. Yeah, they're very old references, so I apologize. I find this really interesting, and I think that it's... you should write a book on how to do this.
And, I've been trying to kind of get on podcasts and find somewhere to talk about it, because I am very passionate about it. I've been doing it a very long time. I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to it. So
yeah,
I got a lot to offer in this world.
Are there conventions for this? OnlyFans conventions where you guys meet and talk about best practices? I'm not joking.
No, not OnlyFans. I mean, Exotica was in Chicago last weekend. I ended up skipping it. I didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But that's My Free Cams. So you've got OnlyFans, My Free Cams, Chatterbait. You've got tons of different websites.
I forgot about Chatterbait. I forgot about Chatterbait.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, Chatterbait was interesting.
Was it? I don't even know what it is. This is all new to me.
Well, it's just live cams, right? That you can just go in and click, but you can pop in and out of different rooms, and it's more cam style. Yeah, it's like free, and then if you want to, you can tip the people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Flash should tip your people.
You should absolutely tip
20%.
And what is I'll ask you these two things. What is the weirdest thing you ever sold in your mind? And I'm thinking the weirdest thing to me would be if you told me you sold the inner sole of a shoe, not the actual shoe. I would find that weird. I'm just saying.
I cut a tortilla into the shape of an insole of the shoe, wore the tortilla in my shoe, and then sold the tortilla.
Gluten or gluten-free?
This is awesome. That's phenomenal. Spinach tortilla.
Oh, my bad.
Wow. What did you think when you were asked to do this?
I was like, cool, he's going to eat that. I got sweaty feet.
Yeah.
And they smell. So
Yeah. And,
that's just the first one off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I've got.
Did they pay a lot of money for that? You don't have to say how much, but I mean,
I think that was like $100, I think.
yeah. I mean, okay. And how long did they request that you have it in your shoe?
I mean, it's going to disintegrate after 8 hours. So I'm like, I got a day in me. That's all I got.
Wow. So you wore it all day?
Yeah. And that's the thing is people would be like,
coolest.
oh, well, you know, like, isn't your, like, you could just have your boyfriend wear it or something. I'm like, yeah, but they're going to know. And as far as like retention goes, like
Yeah.
it's a small world. And if they know that you're ripping them off,
Yeah.
no one else is going to buy from you.
So did you send like pictures of you putting it in your shoe, you putting your shoe on?
Yeah. Usually it's like pictures, like wearing
Yeah.
it or like,
Yeah.
like before, after, whatever.
She tags it.
Yeah.
That's not on OnlyFans. That was from the previous site.
Did you have to, who takes a lot of your pictures? Because a lot of them they're not selfies, right? You've got to pose for these pictures and things, the ones that you put on Instagram.
Tripod. Easy.
Tripod, gotcha. And then what is the weirdest request you ever had? Do you take requests for people to either do live cam stuff or sexual things or any pictures?
I've got someone, so I'll live stream at least twice a month.
Okay.
I try to shoot for 4. And I got this guy who comes on, and usually I'll have like I'll do like a free one, and then I'll go into like a paid one that's a little spicier.
Okay.
But I have someone who always, like, you can do like a hidden message on the side, so like only the creator can see it, so the message isn't for like everyone who's in that live stream.
Gotcha.
So it'll just be sent to me, and it will be like, I will tip you $50 if you pretend to fart and then wave your hand in front of your face and pretend like it stinks. So I'm like, you motherfucker, why are you doing this to me?
So did you do it?
Of course.
Yeah, you got to. But because nobody else probably knew what was happening, or did they?
No, it's like, I mean, I didn't actually fart, but
no,
like,
right,
I
exactly.
had to make like a stink face and like wave my hand. The easiest $50 ever made.
It's like that Beavis and Butthead where they call the sex line and they this old lady in a trailer. And he goes, hey, could you like put the phone on your butt? This is awesome.
That's
And
what
they
it feels like.
Yeah. And they just sat there and it's like $3.99 a minute and they're just racking up a bill while this phone's on this lady's butt.
So what was your major again?
Psych and Soch.
Psych and Soch. So when you see these people, do you ever think, holy, I hope I never meet them in real life?
Oh, I'm like, who hurt you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you must know what buttons to push though.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I mean, yeah, but sometimes it's
It's so
when it comes to
pathetic.
like Dom sub stuff, it's subs are just too annoying. They're so needy.
Do you do dominatrix stuff?
I did in college.
You did. Oh, so was that when you were in college? Was that online or was that in person?
That was in person,
Yeah.
and I hated it.
Oh, okay. Because
It was not for me.
it's usually not sexual things there. It's usually just like physical, right? Causing pain, I would think.
Usually $500 to get my feet, an hour to get my feet rubbed.
Wait, $500 an hour for someone to rub your feet?
Yeah.
God, you had to be the richest chick in college.
And that's where the 1099 comes in because you have to have somebody else come in, an independent contractor.
That's amazing.
That was cash, baby.
That was cash. Look at this. Oh, see, you're an entrepreneur. I appreciate it. You know what? You got a body, go use it. That's the thing. Well, it's been a
Can't knock my hustle.
No, not at all. That was the part of stuff when I see OnlyFans and I go, I hope people realize to really make it. It's an attention game. You've got to be everywhere a lot, doing a lot of things. And not only that, you've got to maintain. So maybe somebody's into someone who maybe, I don't know, a little more Zoftic, a little thicker, a little whatever. You got to maintain that. You don't want to get too big. You don't want to get too small. Or if you're very fit, you got to stay fit. There's a lot of work just in that, plus all the pictures, the promotion, the thing. Some people, I would assume, have teams.
Like she said, it's quick money. It's not easy money, she said.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And, you can have a virtual assistant who can help, like, make your reels for you and do, your posting across socials. And that's something that's really nice to utilize. That frees up a ton of time because posting on socials is terribly time consuming.
It is. Where do you find those people? Do you get them on, like, Fiverr and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, I should look into that just for the podcast.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, like, you're in Chicago, you love Chicago, but we know that Chicago's a lot like New York. It's in the state of Illinois, which is a lot like New York State, which means you got to pay state taxes. Have you made enough money to the point where you're thinking, I might relocate to Nevada, Texas, Tennessee, Florida, a state without a state income tax? Have you got to that level yet? No? Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay.
That's like, I've got a really good accountant as well. And, I also have my personal training business that I do about 6 figures on as well. So
Good.
We kind of roll that all into one.
Good for you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, it has been really cool talking to you. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was fun. Check out the OnlyFans. It's onlyfans.com/ginfit, GINFIT. And you'll see her there, and go and say hi. Go over in that little chat thing and just tell her that you heard our Billified.
You're gonna get some fans, Jen.
But don't make her wave fake farts or anything.
Yeah.
Like that. It's so
Please don't.
It's so stupid. All right. Thank you, Jen. It was really cool talking to you. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Damn.
That was fascinating.
Isn't it? Like, I'm telling you, I know
It's not something that I would endorse, but it's fascinating to see how the other side lives.
I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But my point with this is, to be successful at anything, you've got to have passion and put, a lot of work into it, as she said. A lot of work.
Yeah.
Trying to find it. So there you go. We shall take a moment. Danny's life was saved. Can we say?
Yeah.
His life was saved by his
Fitbit.
I was going to say smartwatch, but it was not. From his Fitbit. And I just read an article today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it's making me think I need to get one of these.
Okay.
We'll get to it next. But first,